July 30th, 1945, the Philippine Sea. The night was warm, the ocean black and endless. Aboard the heavy cruiser USS Indianapolis, 1,196 sailors and Marines sailed beneath a sky of stars. Their mission completed, their orders secret. Days earlier, they had delivered a strange, heavy cargo to Tinian Island. Few aboard knew what it was. Only later would the world learn. It was the core of the atomic bomb that would destroy Hiroshima. Now they were heading home. No escort, no radar watch for submarines. Just open sea and silence. Sound. Gentle hum shifts to distant torpedo launch. At 12:14 a.m., without warning, it came. 2 Japanese torpedoes, fired by Lieutenant Commander Makitsura Hashimoto from submarine I-58, struck in rapid succession. The first tore through the forward quarters. The second, beneath the fuel tanks, unleashed a fireball that ripped the ship apart. Sound. Explosions, alarms, metal twisting, shouting. Flames raced across the deck. Oil burned on the surface of the sea. Men leapt from the inferno into black water slicked with fuel. Within 12 minutes, the USS Indianapolis rolled to her side and vanished beneath the Pacific. More than 300 men went down with her. Over 900 survived the sinking, only to face a nightmare no sailor was prepared for. And no one knew they were missing. This is the story of courage, silence, and the sea's cruelest night. The USS Indianapolis was born in the age of rising powers. Commissioned in 1932, she was a Portland-class heavy cruiser, fast, sleek, and built for dominance. She escorted President Roosevelt, led fleets, and carried the pride of America's Navy into battle. When war engulfed the Pacific, the Indianapolis fought from the Aleutians to the Marianas. She had survived air raids, torpedoes, and years of brutal sea combat. By 1945, she was a veteran of every major Pacific campaign. But in July of that year, she was given her most secret mission yet. At Hunters Point Naval Yard, the ship took aboard a mysterious cargo, sealed containers, and armed guards. Even Captain Charles Butler McVay III wasn't told their purpose. Inside those crates lay the components of Little Boy, the atomic bomb destined for Hiroshima. Engines roar as the ship departs San Francisco Bay. On July 16th, the Indianapolis sailed for Tinian Island. Through rain, heat, and enemy waters, she moved alone. 4 days later, mission complete. Her orders: return to Leyte Gulf, Philippines. No escort, no sonar protection, no warning that a Japanese submarine lurked on her route. At the same hour, Captain McVay set his steady course. Commander Hashimoto's I-58 was prowling those same waters. Silent, patient, hunting. The 2 ships, Hunter and Hunted, were now on a collision course. And by midnight, fate would strike. When the Indianapolis sank, the sea erupted in chaos. Explosions echoed across the dark horizon. Men screamed for help, then vanished beneath the waves. Around 900 survivors were left adrift, scattered across miles of ocean. Many had no life jackets. Most had no food or fresh water. You could hear them calling for each other. But as the night went on, the voices grew fewer. The ship went down too fast for any distress signal. And through a series of failures, reports lost, schedules misread, no search was launched. Days passed. No one knew. No one came. The tropical sun blazed down, burning exposed skin. Dehydration set in within hours. Men grew delirious. Some began to drink seawater, and within hours lost their minds. They hallucinated ships, islands, even rescue planes that weren't there. Then came the sharks, oceanic whitetips, 10 feet long, curious and relentless. At first, they fed on the floating dead. Then they came for the living. They'd circle beneath us. You'd hear the scream, and then nothing. Every few minutes, another man disappeared. Those who drifted from the group were the first to go. By the second day, the survivors had formed small clusters, circles of men kicking and shouting to keep the predators at bay. The water was slick with oil and blood. The sea became their enemy. That night, a storm hit. Rain, salvation from thirst. yet waves so high they tore men apart from their rafts. Some drowned, clutching rainwater in their hands. Others, too weak to hold on, simply drifted away. By the fourth day of the original 900, hundreds were dead. The rest, burned, starved, and surrounded by sharks, clung to hope fading by the hour. And still, no one knew. August 2nd, 1945. The fourth day, Lieutenant Wilbur Chuck Gwynn, flying a PV-1 Ventura patrol bomber, scanned the horizon on routine patrol. He wasn't looking for survivors. He was hunting submarines. Then something caught his eye. An oil slick. Movement. "This is Gwynn. I see men in the water. Many of them." The impossible had been found by accident. Gwynn radioed for help. Within hours, a PBY Catalina piloted by Lieutenant Commander Robert Marks arrived over the scene. Below him, hundreds of men scattered across miles of ocean. Oil, blood, sharks. Marks made a decision that defied orders. He landed his plane on the open sea. As the Catalina hit the waves, survivors swam desperately toward it. Marks and his crew pulled them aboard, one by one, until the plane was filled beyond safety. When there was no more room inside, they tied men to the wings with rope. Hours later, the USS Cecil J. Doyle, commanded by Lieutenant Commander W. Graham Claytor, Jr., arrived. Claytor broke Protocol 2, turning on his ship's powerful searchlights, sweeping them across the horizon. When we saw that light, we started to cry. For the first time in 5 days, we knew someone was out there for us. All through the night, ships combed the sea. They found living and dead tangled together, drifting in silence. By dawn, 316 men were alive. More than 880 were gone. It was the greatest loss of life at sea from a single ship in U.S. naval history. And it could have been prevented. In the aftermath, the Navy faced an unbearable question. How could an entire ship vanish without notice? Who was to blame? They turned to one man, Captain Charles McVay. Survivors were stunned. He had shared their suffering, endured their terror, and yet, now he stood accused of hazarding his ship. At his trial, the Navy even summoned Commander Hashimoto, the Japanese officer who had sunk him. Hashimoto told the court, whether he zigzagged or not, it would have made no difference. Still, McVay was found guilty. His record stained. His spirit broken. For decades, he lived under a cloud of hate. Every Christmas, he received letters from families of the dead. Some forgave him. Most did not. On November 6, 1968, Captain McVay took his own life, holding a toy sailor from a model ship in his hand. Years passed. The story of the Indianapolis faded into history until a boy brought it back. In 1998, 12-year-old Hunter Scott researched the tragedy for a school project. His work caught national attention. Survivors joined him, demanding justice. And in 2000, the United States Congress officially exonerated Captain McVay. After 55 years, his name was cleared. In 2017, explorers led by Paul Allen discovered the wreck of the USS Indianapolis, 3.5 miles beneath the surface. Her hull lies silent, her guns still aimed toward the sky, a final resting place for the men who sailed into history and never returned. The USS Indianapolis. Her mission ended a world war. Her loss changed a navy. And her story reminds us that even in victory, the sea keeps its secrets.